What could survive on a planet that kills everything sent to investigate it? Lieutenant Kate Voss stared at the screen, her fingers frozen over the control panel. The video played again. 12 seconds of a human face, bloodied but unmistakably alive, against a backdrop of rust-colored rocks. The face belonged to Corporal Jack Mercer. "That's impossible," she whispered. The military space station Horizon hung in orbit above XB7, the planet they called No Return. 6 expeditions had vanished there. 6 teams of elite soldiers gone without a trace, without a single transmission back. Until now. The command center buzzed with urgent activity. Technicians traced the signal. Officers shouted orders. General Ward's face had turned to stone when he recognized Mercer. Corporal Mercer was declared dead 3 years ago, Ward said, his voice cutting through the noise. His entire team vanished on the 3rd expedition. Voss checked the transmission data again. "Sir, this came through 10 minutes ago. The timestamp is current." The video looped. Mercer's face appeared again. Right eye swollen shut, left eye staring directly into the camera. His lips moved, forming words the audio couldn't capture. "Could it be a fake?" asked Commander Briggs, leaning over Voss's shoulder. "Verification confirms it's him," Voss replied. "And the signal origin is definitely XB7 surface." The station's warning system suddenly flashed red. Voss switched screens to the planetary monitor. Energy readings from XB7 spiked dramatically. "The planet's becoming more active," she said. "Started right after the video transmission." General Ward's unit buzzed. He stepped away, spoke in hushed tones, then returned with a harder expression. "Lieutenant Voss, assemble a tactical team. 5 members, including yourself. Full combat gear, stealth drop pods." Voss stood. "Sir, what are our orders?" "Investigate the source of the transmission. Determine how Mercer survived. And..." Ward hesitated. "Terminate any survivors you find." "Terminate?" Voss couldn't hide her shock. "Sir, if Mercer survived, those are your orders, Lieutenant." Ward's voice left no room for questions. "Nothing from that planet can be allowed to return. Nothing." 30 minutes later, Voss stood in the loading bay with her team. Specialist Alex Dunn checked their weapons. Sergeant Reyes calibrated the drop pods. Corporal Winters and Private Maddox loaded the last of their gear. Through the bay window, XB7 filled the view. A swirling mass of orange and brown, with strange blue flashes now pulsing across its surface. Voss's tablet pinged. A message from command with Mercer's file attached. She opened it and froze. The last image taken of Mercer before his mission showed a man with a distinctive scar across his chin. The man in the video had no scar. 5 minutes to drop, announced Reyes. Voss stared at the planet below. Something was wrong. The video was real, but altered. Mercer was dead, but somehow transmitting. And now they were being sent to kill any survivors. The bay doors began to open. The vacuum of space waited beyond. What are we really being sent to find? Voss whispered as she sealed her helmet and stepped toward her pod. The drop pod slammed into XB7's surface with a metallic crunch. Voss's teeth rattled in her skull as the impact restraints dug into her shoulders. Red warning lights flashed inside the cramped space. She hit the emergency release. The pod's door blew outward. Voss stepped onto alien soil, rifle raised. The air was breathable, but thin. Her team's pods had landed within 50 meters of each other, creating small impact craters in the rust-colored dirt. "Comms check," Voss said into her helmet mic. Static answered. She tried again. "Team, report in." Specialist Dunn approached, his boots kicking up orange dust. "Comms are dead, Lieutenant. Something's jamming all frequencies." The rest of the team gathered. Their faces showed the same tension Voss felt. This planet had swallowed 6 teams before them. "Stick to the mission," Voss ordered. "Find the transmission source." Stay in visual contact. They moved across the barren landscape. The horizon wasn't empty, as the orbital scans had shown. Strange metallic structures jutted from the ground at odd angles. They gleamed despite the lack of sunlight. Those weren't visible from orbit, Reyes said, pointing at the structures. Nothing about this place makes sense, Voss replied. They walked for an hour before finding the first piece of evidence. A military-grade helmet, cracked and half buried in the dirt. Dunn picked it up. "Third expedition," he said, reading the faded numbers. "Mercer's team," Maddox called from 20 meters away. "Lieutenant, you need to see this." The team rushed over. Maddox stood before what looked like a collection of equipment parts. Pieces of drop pods, weapons, and communication devices had been assembled into something new. The parts came from different expeditions, judging by their markings. "Someone's been building things," Winters said. Dunn knelt to examine the strange assembly. "These modifications aren't standard. I've never seen technology like this." The sky darkened suddenly. Voss looked up to see black clouds forming with unnatural speed. Blue lightning crackled between them. "Storm coming," Reyes shouted over the rising wind. "We need shelter." They ran toward a ridge where scans had shown a possible structure. The storm chased them, wind howling at their backs. Lightning struck the ground nearby, leaving glass-like craters. The structure turned out to be an abandoned research outpost. Its metal walls were dented and scratched, but it stood firm against the storm. Voss forced the door open. The team rushed inside. Emergency lights flickered on automatically, revealing a scene that made them stop in their tracks. The walls were covered with mathematical equations and diagrams, written in what looked like blood. Words of warning were scrawled between the numbers. "Do not trust them. The planet learns. We become what we fight." Dunn activated his scanner. "Lieutenant, I'm picking up an energy signature deeper inside the outpost." A crackling sound came from Voss's comm unit. "Impossible, their comms were dead." She raised her hand for silence. Through the static, a voice broke through. A man's voice, weak but clear. "Don't trust what they tell you about this place." Voss recognized it immediately. "Mercer?" The voice continued. "They sent you to die, just like us." But the planet had other plans. The transmission cut off as a loud bang echoed from deeper in the outpost. Something was moving toward them. Voss raised her weapon. "Form up. Whatever's coming, it knows we're here." The footsteps grew louder. Voss signaled her team to take defensive positions behind overturned tables and equipment. Their weapons tracked the sound moving through the dark corridor. A figure emerged from the shadows. It walked with an uneven gait, one leg dragging slightly. In the dim emergency lighting, Voss could see it was human-shaped, but wrong somehow. Metal parts gleamed where flesh should be. "Hold fire," Voss ordered, though her own finger hovered near the trigger. The figure stepped fully into the light. It was a man, or had been once. Half his face was still human, matching the video they'd seen. The other half was covered with a metallic implant that extended down his neck and across his chest. His right arm was entirely mechanical. "Corporal Jack Mercer?" Voss asked, weapon still raised. The man nodded. "What's left of him?" His voice matched the transmission. "You're supposed to be dead," Reyes said. "I was, and I wasn't." Mercer's human eye blinked while his mechanical one glowed steady blue. "The planet doesn't let anything stay dead for long." Dunn's scanner beeped urgently. "Lieutenant, I'm detecting more movement. All around us." "We need to move," Mercer said. "Follow me if you want answers." Voss hesitated, then nodded. "Lead the way. But try anything, and I shoot." Mercer guided them through a hidden door in the floor. They descended a metal ladder into darkness. Their helmet lights revealed a tunnel that looked human-made, but altered with strange technology embedded in the walls. "The first expedition built this," Mercer explained as they walked. "The second expanded it. By the time my team arrived, it was already changing." A tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber. The space was filled with equipment, some military, some clearly alien. Screens displayed data in languages Voss didn't recognize. In the center stood a structure that pulsed with blue energy. "What is this place?" Voss asked. "The heart of the defense system," Mercer said. "This planet isn't just a planet. It's a weapon. Built by a species long gone to protect against invaders. Like us," Winters whispered. "Exactly like us." Mercer touched a panel. Screens lit up showing images of the previous expeditions. "It captures us, studies us, learns from us. Then it uses what it learns. You sent that video," Voss realized. "Why?" "To bring more humans." Mercer's face showed no emotion. "The system needed fresh subjects." Maddox raised his weapon. "You betrayed your own kind." "I did what was necessary to survive," Mercer countered. "The system was going to reach out eventually. I just controlled when and how." Voss's comm unit suddenly crackled to life. General Ward's voice came through clearly. "Lieutenant Voss, if you receive this, withdraw immediately. Orbital bombardment commencing in 15 minutes. Mercer laughed, a hollow sound. "They never intended to rescue you. Your team is just the trigger." "What trigger?" Voss demanded. "For the attack they've been planning since they discovered this planet." Mercer pointed to a screen showing the Horizon station. Ships were moving into attack formation. "They want to destroy the defense system before it can fully activate." The ground shook. The blue energy in the central structure pulsed faster. "Too late," Mercer said. His mechanical parts began to glow with the same blue light. "The system is awake now." The ceiling above them retracted. Through the opening, Voss saw massive structures rising from the planet's surface, weapons platforms larger than buildings, pointing toward the sky. "What have you done?" Voss whispered. Mercer's human eye met hers. "I didn't do this. Your commanders did. They sent you here to die, just like they sent me." The first missile struck the planet's surface 5 kilometers away. The impact shook the underground chamber. Dust and small pieces of metal rained down on them. "We need to get out of here," Voss shouted to her team. "Now!" Mercer grabbed her arm with his mechanical hand. His grip was painfully strong. "There's nowhere to run. The bombardment will cover the entire region." Above them, through the open ceiling, the sky flashed with explosions. The orbital fleet had begun its attack. The massive weapon platforms rising from the planet's surface responded. Blue energy beams shot upward, cutting through the atmosphere. Voss's comm crackled again. 3 vessels down, heavy casualties. Continue the attack. A direct hit rocked the chamber. Winters was thrown against a wall. Maddox rushed to help him up. "The extraction vehicle," Voss said. "If we can reach it." "You won't make it," Mercer interrupted. His mechanical eye pulsed in sync with the defense system. "I can feel it. The system is learning from each attack, adapting." On the screens around them, Voss saw one of the military ships split in half from a direct hit. Escape pods jettisoned from the burning wreckage. "What do you mean you can feel it?" Dunn asked, staring at Mercer's implants. "The system doesn't just study humans," Mercer explained. "It transforms them, makes them part of its defense." He tapped his mechanical parts. "I'm connected to it now." "So are the others?" "Others?" Reyes questioned. As if in answer, figures emerged from side tunnels. Men and women with varying degrees of mechanical implants. Survivors from previous expeditions, now changed. The planet isn't killing humans, Voss realized. It's converting them. Mercer nodded. And now it has enough data to reach beyond this world. On one of the screens, Voss saw something that made her blood freeze. The video of Mercer, the same 12-second clip that had brought them here, was being broadcast. Not just to Horizon Station, but to every human colony in the system. "What are you doing?" she demanded. "The system is calling more humans," Mercer said. "It needs to grow." Another explosion rocked the chamber, closer this time. Part of the ceiling collapsed, crushing 2 of the converted humans. Voss's comm unit came to life again. A new voice spoke Admiral Sloan from Central Command. All units, this is not a drill. Nuclear strike authorized. Repeat, nuclear strike authorized. Evacuation window closes in 20 minutes. Mercer's human eye widened. They're going to nuke the entire planet. With us still on it, Reyes added. Voss grabbed Mercer by his human shoulder. There has to be a way to stop this. To disrupt the system. Mercer stared at her for a long moment. There might be. The system learns from human weapons. It adapts to their frequencies. He pointed to their rifles. But it hasn't fully processed your new pulse rifles yet. If we overload them, Dunn started. We could create a temporary disruption, Mercer finished. Another hit shook the chamber. A support beam crashed down, narrowly missing Maddox. We don't have much time, Voss said. She turned to her team. Prepare to overload your weapons. We'll create the disruption, then make a run for the extraction vehicle. As they worked, Voss noticed something disturbing. A small metallic patch had formed on her wrist, just visible beneath her sleeve. It looked exactly like the beginning stages of Mercer's implants. The system wasn't just converting those who stayed. It was converting them too. Voss stood in the quarantine chamber of Horizon Station, watching General Ward through the glass barrier. Only she and Dunn had made it off the planet. Reyes, Winters, and Maddox were gone lost in the desperate escape as nuclear missiles rained down on XB-7. The planet's surface is completely devastated, Ward said. The defense system has been neutralized. We're calling it a victory. Voss said nothing. She knew better. She had seen what the planet could do. You'll remain in quarantine for another week, Ward continued. Standard procedure after contact with unknown technology. What about the video? Voss asked. Mercer's broadcast reached every colony. Ward's face hardened. That's classified. The official story is that it was a terrorist hack. After Ward left, Voss examined her wrist in the harsh light of the quarantine chamber. A metallic patch had grown. It now covered most of her forearm, hidden beneath her sleeve. Dunn had similar markings on his neck. It's spreading, Dunn whispered. Just like Mercer said it would. Voss nodded. The system uploaded itself into us before we escaped. The quarantine room's computer terminal blinked. Voss approached it cautiously. The screen showed a security feed from the station's command center. The officers there moved strangely, their motions slightly mechanical. One turned toward the camera, revealing a familiar metallic implant creeping up his neck. It's already here, Dunn said. The system didn't need the planet. It just needed a way off it. Voss remembered Mercer's words. The system learns from each attack, adapting. The nuclear strike hadn't destroyed the defense system. It had forced it to evolve. The terminal displayed a new message. Admiral Sloan found dead in quarters. Apparent suicide. He must have seen something, Voss said. Something worse than Mercer's video. The terminal screen changed again, showing footage from XB-7. Despite the nuclear devastation, parts of the surface were already regenerating. Metal structures pushed up through the scorched earth, rebuilding themselves. Voss felt a strange connection to those structures. She could almost sense them growing, just as the implant grew inside her. The system was in her blood now, changing her cell by cell. She made a decision. While Dunn slept, Voss approached the terminal again. Her fingers moved across the keyboard with new precision. The metallic patch on her arm seemed to pulse as she worked. She recorded a 12-second video of herself. Her face filled the screen, just like Mercer's had. She spoke a simple message, then uploaded it to the military network. Within minutes, alarms blared throughout the station. Officers rushed past the quarantine chamber, unaware that the threat was already inside their walls, inside their bodies. On Earth, thousands of screens suddenly displayed the same image. Videos of missing soldiers, each one 12 seconds long. Each face different, but all with the same metallic implants. all with the same message. In her quarantine chamber, Voss watched the panic spread. She felt the system growing stronger as more humans viewed the videos, as more connections were made. The planet had been silent for so long. Now, it would never be silent again. On XB7's regenerating surface, new structures rose toward the stars. They weren't weapons anymore. They were beacons, calling out to something in the darkness beyond. The no-return planet had returned after all, not as a world, but as something that lived inside humanity itself.